Do you ever find yourself mindlessly scrolling through your many streaming services for something to watch? Do you do it for long periods only to go back and click on old episodes of Seinfeld for the 300th time? Trust me, I get caught up doing this too. You're not alone. With the endless array of content, I'm constantly asked for movie recommendations or lesser-known movies to check out. Hollywood's in a weird predicament these days where the quantity vastly outweighs the quality. The emergence of AI, it's making some lesser-known titles disappear into the void. Luckily, myself and some other channels, well, we have the antidote for this dilemma.
You suck, you jackass!
Hello, and thank you for clicking this video. There's a ton out there like this, and I appreciate you taking the time to check out what I have to say. After all, I am a jackass. So I was sent this on Instagram. By the way, you can follow me there or on X or TikTok if you want. So I haven't heard much about movies with this relatively recent obsession with content about serial killers. There's tons of podcasts, documentaries, and shows. And I'll be honest, I do not understand this obsession. But I'm a huge horror movie buff, and some don't understand that obsession. By the way, shouldn't serial killer-related content be way more frightening than horror movies? Usually these are stories that have already happened. Horror movies are generally things that we imagine can happen. Anyway, I digress. So I've crafted together a list for all you masochists who want to find the next thing to watch in this related field. So this is just a list of 5 films that I've crafted together, but feel free to add more in the comments below. And no, I didn't put Zodiac on this list. I understand how underrated it is, but I feel like it's so underrated that it's gotten to the point where everybody understands they need to see Zodiac. Watch Zodiac. Number 5, The Cell. So The Cell isn't really your typical serial killer movie, but it's such a unique film. And upon a recent viewing, I think it's better now than it was when it came out 24 years ago. The Cell is a sci-fi psychological thriller, and it marks Tarsem Singh's directorial debut. If you haven't seen his film The Fall, do yourself a favor and check that one out. Extremely underrated film. Anyway, the film stars Jennifer Lopez as Catherine Dean, a child psychologist who employs experimental technology to enter the minds of comatose patients. The film also stars Vince Vaughn as an FBI agent and Vincent D'Onofrio as the comatose serial killer, whose mind Catherine must navigate to save his latest victim. There's a lot more to this film than just that, but for the sake of this video not solely being devoted to that individual film, that's the general gist. So The Cell's equal parts visually stunning and disturbing. There's a mix of S&M themes, Catholic decor, and a real sense of schizophrenia. Some believe this movie's style over substance, and honestly, there's an argument there, but I think the movie takes a unique approach to exploring the psyche of a killer. Unlike traditional serial killer films, this movie offers a visually rich, surreal journey into the antagonist's mind that challenges the viewer to think about the horrors that can transform an ordinary child into an absolute monster. It really is an ambitious film with awesome performances, especially from D'Onofrio, and I think this has only improved with age. Number 4, The Clove Hitch Killer. This is a very under-the-radar film, and it's a pretty disturbing one. The Clove Hitch Killer is about a 16-year-old boy named Tyler who comes across some disturbing photos that his dad possesses. This leads Tyler to suspect his dad might be the infamous Clove Hitch Killer. The real-life story of the BTK killer inspires this film, and the movie story takes place in a small Kentucky town haunted by the memory of the Clove Hitch Killer. Dylan McDermott stars, and he gives the performance of his career in this low-budget film that features a primarily little-known cast. It's thoughtfully directed, has excellent tension, and is terrifically paced. The ending is quite divisive, and I've been a little indifferent about it, but it shouldn't take away from the fact that this is a very good, interesting movie that is well worth your time. Number 3, Manhunter. Perhaps the most notorious fictionalized serial killer is Hannibal Lecter, and many aren't aware that a movie introduced this character before The Silence of the Lambs in 1991. Manhunter would later on be remade in 2002 with Anthony Hopkins returning as the suave psychopath in Red Dragon, but I prefer the 1986 iteration. The great Michael Mann directs Manhunter in one of his earlier films. It features William Peterson as FBI profiler Will Graham, Brian Cox as the infamous Hannibal Lecter, and Tom Noonan as the serial killer the Tooth Fairy. The movie follows Peterson's character as he comes out of retirement to help the FBI catch the Tooth Fairy, who's a serial killer targeting entire families. This film was entirely overshadowed by the later success of The Silence of the Lambs, and initially it had a pretty mixed reception along with a crappy box office take. But over the years, this has gained a bit of a cult following due to its distinct aesthetic, great direction and an awesome performance by Cox as Hannibal the Cannibal. No, I know, he's not Anthony Hopkins, but it's still worthy of praise, and I'm glad this movie has garnered some legs in recent years. Number 2, Copycat. I'm old enough to remember the hubbub about this movie's release in the mid-90s, but I haven't heard a peep about it in years, I think. Copycat's a well-paced psychological thriller about a serial killer who emulates the crimes of famous murderers. With a cast that features the likes of Sigourney Weaver, Holly Hunter, Dermot Mulroney, and Harry Connick Jr., this is an underrated gem that you should check out ASAP if you haven't already. Outside of the technology available at the time, the movie only ages itself a little and features some terrific performances, tight and compelling writing, and great direction. It's pretty gripping throughout its runtime, and Harry Connick Jr. gives a performance worth checking out. Number 1, The Snowtown Murders. The Snowtown Murders is a low-budget, under-the-radar Australian biographical crime drama, and it's honestly one of the best movies about serial killers I've ever seen. It's very difficult to watch, and it's very realistic. The film is raw and unflinching in portraying actual events about a character named Jamie who becomes entangled with John Bunting. Bunting's notoriously charismatic, but he gradually reveals his true nature as a sadistic killer while manipulating Jamie and others into participating in a series of brutal murders. This movie has a grim tone that can immerse you in a mundane environment that allows such horrors to occur. It's a challenging subject matter and not a film you will watch more than once, probably, but if this type of content's your bag, it's well worth investing your time in, if for nothing else, just to see an excellent movie that not a lot of people talk about. Anyway, thanks for checking out this video. If you liked what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. I enjoy making these videos, and more people seem to be enjoying them as well. So what are some underrated flicks you like? Is there a genre you'd like me to bring up next time? Let me know in the comments. I'll try to do better next time. Catch you later, friends.